Good evening, everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the final round of the season here of Gavra Racing League Tier 1 on Sunday evening. I'm Jatier53, bringing you coverage and commentary, of course, for this season finale. And I'm delighted to say that joining me this evening is Shortbread224 in the commentary box. I do hope, Shortbread, that he's there.
Yeah, I am. Cheers, Jack. Good to be here. I know we missed last week, but glad to be in outside. Final race of the season now, Las Vegas. No better place to do it. I'm looking forward to it.
No better place indeed. The drivers are out on circuit, and the many puns that can happen with Las Vegas will no doubt happen as we go round for tonight. But there is a championship on offer for one of the 4 drivers that are out on circuit at the moment. Let me give you a quick rundown of what is in store for this evening. Of course, we've got the 2 races, but the championship standings are very close in both the drivers and constructors. For the 4 drivers, we have Joss in first place on 125 points. He's driving that Ferrari. At the moment, I can't see him. There he is. He's in 11th. He's in the pit lane at the moment. Ben Roberts is second on 115, so 10 points back. Psycho is third on 93 points in the Mercedes. And fourth is Xnati G on 88 in the McLaren. So those 2 need to make some steps moving forward this evening. For the Constructors' Championship, it's also very close there. Haas lead the way on 157. That's both Ben Roberts and the Steps, who's out on track as well. McLaren drivers of Psycho and Born Winner are on 149 points. Mercedes are third on 144. That's Psycho and Money Game. And the Ferraris of Yoss and Shari are on 131. So both championships up for grabs. And on a track like this, Shortbread, it's all to play for, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. That long straight, it's such a long time to be able to catch up. You could be a second back and easily nearly overtake if you used all your rest and you had some quick straight line speeds. It's a really weird track. I've never league raced here, obviously brand new track as well. I've no idea what to expect, but I know that long straight's going to kick up some action for us and definitely some large amount of overtakes around there.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of what I would call simple overtakes around Vegas. It's a 6.12 kilometer circuit, 17 corners to factor in, but very long straights and DRS involved. In one that you're watching right now, we're on board with, looks like Money Game we're following at the moment. That's one area that you can use the DRS between turns 4 and 5 and on the exit of turn 13 and 14. And what I can tell you from Tier 2 earlier is that all of the overtaking action was going on down that big straight. You can be 7 or 8 attempts clear and get warped back in. It's that powerful around here.
Yeah, I think the drivers were mainly thinking about sticking in that DRS window. I know I say every week, but I think it's especially important around here. If you lose that 1 second gap on how many you got, two DRS zones, but they're so long. That first one not as much, but that second one, if you lose that, it's going to be hard to get that gap back, especially if everyone's all close together. I imagine we'll see a long DRS train this race. By the looks of it, they are pretty close, so that's what I imagine we'll see.
Yeah, I can imagine there'll be a lot of trains going on around this track, and Shortbread raises a very good point for everyone listening. If you lose that 1 second gap, you don't have access to the drag reduction system. You can lose over a second around this circuit. It's so powerful, and once you've lost it, it's very, very difficult to get back in to that window. We've got Psycho at the top of the timesheets at the moment on 1:31.5, but we still have 13.5 minutes to go in the session, so there's plenty of time for that to change. And to note, Ben Roberts and Money Game, who've set lap time so far, have done it on the medium. So still assuming that they're going to get their eye in. Now, Shortbread, I've got a question to ask you, because obviously, you know, being a Gavra champion numerous times, how do you go about setting up for the car for this race? What would you do in this scenario?
Well, being such a low downforce track, I imagine they'll be running something like 13-10 wings, something really low, nearly Monza wings, or you still have to have a few wings for those. Sector 1, Sector 2, all that, but Sector 3, that's all really just wings. But then also, don't want to sacrifice the race. Low wings could be good for qualifying, but then you could end up maybe overheating the tyres for the race, maybe too much wear. You got things, stuff like that. It's just, keep an eye on that. Just don't push too much in qualifying, then sacrifice your race. Obviously, race where the points are. So, yeah, that's what I usually do. I usually try and think of a qualifying setup, but then add a few wings maybe, then you should be fine. But these guys will be running very low wings, so you'll see them understeering in the corners, just struggling to get oversteer, things like that. And yeah, that's what you'll be seeing.
Can imagine that'd be the case. Fake Knutson took a strategy in Tier 2. He doesn't race in Tier 1. He was driving a Red Bull, and he had the quickest car in a straight line quite comfortably, but his pace in the first sector was where he struggled quite a bit. Still got some good results this evening, but who knows what they could have been if he'd had added an extra couple of clicks of wing on. Joss is out on circuit. He's on a lap at the moment, our championship leader. The top three drivers who've qualified so far are, funnily enough, the top three involved in the championship fight, but Joss is yet to put a time on the board. He's just swinging his way through turn 14 over that horrible little curb at turn 16. If you catch that part wrong, you can clip the wooden plank underneath, and it just sends the car off on a little bit of a sort of drift, a little spin. Joss, though, goes provisionally fastest.
Yeah, nice lap there, but something we've got to remember. Brem Roberts, that is the 32 dead, only 7 tenths off pole, but that is on the mediums. He has just switched over to the softs now, but he's in the pits, so I imagine he'll come out in a minute, 2 minutes time. So remember to watch out Ben Roberts. That isn't his time. We'll definitely be able to go nearly a second quicker, something like that. I'm not sure what the delta is with mediums and softs, but he'll gather a lot of time just being on the better tyres. So remember to look out for him.
It's funny you should mention that. I've been doing some number crunching between both tiers to look at the sort of difference between the soft and the medium compound around Vegas. It seems anywhere between 0.6 to 1.2. But one thing that did get played out during the strategy in Tier 2, and this is something to watch out for, if there's an early safety car, anyone who pits early and goes to the hard tyres, they've got a very good opportunity to win the race, but they have to show they've got the speed to do so. Tutty Boy was leading the race on the hard tyres. He pitted early, did it under the safety car, was the only one to do it, but he got caught out in the end and didn't finish on the podium for various reasons, not just towards that. So there will be a multitude of strategy if we see a safety car come out, which around here, it's definitely likely.
Yeah, definitely. I'll close your eye on the walls, especially the exits, basically brushing the walls. So yeah, I'd definitely be surprised there isn't a safety car during this 50% race. Imagine there surely will be one or two, something like that. But also something put out, we see Ben Roberts now is starting his lap. He's got that long straight to go, and then 1 second he'll be starting his lap, and then we'll see how much nearly the championship leader is, how much pace they've got, and we'll see how we got 4 tenths. Yeah, they won 4, and then 32 dead. That's how close it is, even with those mediums. So we'll see how it does in a few minutes' time.
Do you want to, hopefully Gav is listening, he can cut over to Ben Roberts, who's in 4th place. Do you want to talk us through a lap, Shortbread?
Yeah, let's do it. He's going to third sector now, so he needs to start getting ready now, set the ERS on as he has done. You can see the ERS battery decrease, and he's already started the lap, even though he's still hundreds of meters away from the start-finish line, as he hasn't technically started it, but he crosses the line now. The laps begin. He's got this tough left-right coming up. He basically drives the car with his right foot here. He's got feather the throttle, so easy to oversteer. Then got a lift off again, can easily spin out, lose the rear. Then bang, straight right on the throttle all the way down. DRS open, first DRS zone of the whole lap. He's got another one, long one coming up. This quick right hand that's so easy to hit the wall on the exit and lose your front and ruin your lap, even ruin your qualifying. Navigates it nicely then. This interesting chicane sort of corner coming up. Just missed the apex, but still really nicely stays in third gear, then shifts down through there. Touching the Gavra, be careful not to hit the wall, and he has it so close to the wall, basically touching it is how close it is. The McLaren gets that way nice, and it's got this sort of straight, not still turning the wheel, not perfectly straight, and this is the most important, difficult corner of the entire track. You got to sort of cut it without invalidating it. You got to get the perfect exit. You got to sacrifice the entry, then you get the better exit. That's all it's about. You can basically make your lap here. If you get that corner right, that's how you get. It's the difference between getting pole and second. Is all it is really. Qualifying's down to one corner here, how important it is. They're going 220 miles an hour already as he goes into the final sector, just a few more corners before he's finished his lap. Coming up, it touched that inside curve, then you want to try and cut this one as much as you can, doesn't invalidate, stays on throttle. It's really easy to lose it there as well. You got to be so important as well, you got to get a good exit, you can lose a lot of time here as well. You're going to come across the line, it's like a good lap, we definitely improved, but is it enough? And it is enough, 31.2. That's a nice lap. He's gained 8 tenths there compared to his median. It's a good lap.
Really good effort from Ben Roberts to go provisionally pole for the time being. We've got 7.5 minutes remaining in the session, but that was a well done lap from the man in second in the championship. How can Josh respond back to that? Also, to just give you a notification for everybody who's watching at the moment, Psycho and Natty G are certainly in this championship, but they both need to outscore Josh in this opening race. Psycho needs to outscore Josh by 7 points to stay mathematically in with a shout at the championship. Natty G needs to outscore Josh by 12 points. Not impossible, but both of them need to be on the front foot. Now, if anywhere in terms of the tracks that we go to in F1, and I think, Shortbread, you probably would agree with me, out of all the tracks that we go to on the calendar, this is arguably the track on the whole of the calendar where pole position probably isn't vital to having good success around the race.
Absolutely, yeah. This how easy it's going to be overtaken around here. It's sort of like Monza, that all the long DRS straights, and then you can't really overtake in the corners. It's all around the straights here with that DRS, and that'd be the whole race really. Especially if you're leading on the last lap, you most likely won't win the race. That's what the DRS is like. If you're leading, you're like, oh no, this is not the position you want to be. You want to be in second. That's if you're in second and you're in between 1 second of the car ahead. That's where you want to be. That's the perfect position because you can easily get a move done on that long straight. But then I imagine we'll see some DRS chicken, some funny games going on if someone's leading on the last lap because no one wants to be leading going into that long straight. So yeah, qualifying doesn't matter too much here. Obviously, if you get first, nice, but then there's no worries really if you finish second, third, something like that. It's all down to the race.
Do you think psychologically, Shortbread, that let's say if Ben does end up with pole position now and he is a 10th clear, do you think that plays on Josh's mind a little bit? So he's thinking, you know, if let's say Josh at some point towards the end of the race is leading, but Ben's right behind him, he knows he's got maybe a 10th or 2 in his pocket he can just use to get past him towards the end, do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. It is really a mind games track round here. That long straight, it just controls the whole track. You don't really think about the rest. It's all about that long straight. If there wasn't such a long straight, the track would be completely different. But it's that long Las Vegas strip that we all talk about. It's all down to who is second. If you're leading, obviously it's out you want to be leading, but really, that last lap, you're in a difficult position. There's nothing you could do. Use all your ERS. Just that how long the straight, and there's absolutely nothing you can do no matter how quick you are. So if you can break the DRS window, that's great, but very difficult to do around here. So I imagine everyone will be so close together that that's how the race will end.
Yeah, it will be very tight as we head towards the last few minutes of this qualifying, and ERS management will be critical around this track as well. If you do want to be one of the few people who wants to lead on the final lap, you've got to hope that you've got a lot of your reserves available for the battery use on the final lap, but we shall see whether that's a case of whether that happens or not. Good to see CT Pat back in the lobby. First time in a few rounds we've seen him. He's still looking for his first ever points, but if there's a track that you can roll the dice on around here, then certainly Pat will be one to maybe take advantage of all that. We've got Devori, we've got both Alpha Tauris working together to try and get themselves a better lap. And I'm surprised, Shortbread, that other teams, maybe not perhaps maybe not so much the championship fight. Well, actually, maybe the championship fight, because they've all got different teams, haven't they? I'm surprised other teams aren't using this a little bit more to just sort of propel themselves along, have a faint toe down the main straight, try and gain a bit more lap time.
That is true. Yeah, that is something. Yeah, I didn't think of that. Yeah, if they're working together, maybe in a pie chat, something like that, they could definitely do that. We've seen it many times in the past in real life F1. It can be 3 attempts maybe if you get it right. That whole slipstream down long straight. Yeah, that can be key if they work together. Something like the Mercedes, anyone. Yeah, that could be huge for their lap time. That could easily get you pole with how close it is already with 31.2, 31.3.5. Yeah, it's a good point actually. We'll see if anyone does that.
I mean, you would think about it. I mean, if you were ex-Natty G and born winner, if you want to try and impact the championship fight, because not only are they second in the constructors, but Natty's still got a decent chance of the drivers' championship. You'd be looking at this last lap and thinking, right, born winner, can you give Natty maybe a little bit of a slipstream, about a second or so back from him? But clearly the drivers, they're in their own mindsets. They want to do their own thing, because outside of AlphaTauri, I don't see any other team doing it.
Yeah, I don't think anyone will, but that's a good point. They should try it. We'll see. But something I also noticed, I didn't think we saw it because we were on board with Ben Roberts earlier, but I think Psycho invalidated his second run. So he did his first run, 31.5, and then he invalidated the second one, and now he's on his third run, which is now. So he sort of put himself on the back foot here. He's only had one lap, so he's only put one banker in. He hasn't been able to do 3 laps, he's only been able to do 2, a second now. So he's sort of in a difficult situation now because he has more time in him, for sure, but it's difficult now. If he pushed too much, invalidate, spin, hit the front wing, anything like that. So something you got to remember. He might not push too much, but that's his choice. Depends what you want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And whilst you were saying that, Money Game just popped himself up to 5th place. So Mercedes certainly not out of this championship. It is working with the two Alpha Tauris. They are a little bit further away from one another, but you'll still have the effect of a distant toe as the game does pick it up. Although, having said that, a little bit further behind than I thought now with Devori and JB Surreal. They're both improving on their laps. They are due to be the first drivers to see not so much the checkered flag, but definitely their final lap. They're coming towards turn 14. A very difficult braking zone, I feel, to get right, because you've got to get the car lined up for 15 over the little curb, not clip the plank too much, and then it's a straight shot to the checkered flag. Just following Devori, he's going to be that first driver of these initial runs. Deployment already gone by that point. That's a good time, that, from Devori into the top 10, a 32.3. What's his teammate do? 33.2. So that's some pace from Devori there in 9th place. That's a good effort from him.
Yeah, no, so I would want to add something you said about the difficult braking zones around it. I think there's 2 that I think it's turn 15. I can't really remember. The one that leads onto the long straight, that one's quite really difficult braking zone, I've found. Especially like it's a sort of blind corner. You slam on the brakes, you get it 1 meter too early, too late. You could be hitting the wall in the exit. You could be invalidating, going too early. This is another corner before the chicane around the middle of sector 2, I think. Also another blind corner. You got to hit the apex. You got to set the car up ready for the chicane coming up, because you got to sort of, like I said, it's sacrifice the entry speed and get the exit speed around here. That's what's key. So go slow in, fast out. That's what you want to do.
Absolutely. You were talking about turn 12, how difficult it was. Shari has nose planted the Ferrari into the wall, so that's his running over. Born Winner's just got his McLaren into the fives. That's important for McLaren for their fight for the championship. Psycho is on a lap. He's 3/10 up at the moment, so he's on track. If he can get the final 2 corners right, which he does do, and he's now going to go towards line, hurtling towards it over 200 miles an hour. Psycho wants to get back in this championship. Can he do it on this lap? This is going to be important. And he goes second. He's just in behind Ben.
Ah, so close, so close. But Ben comes into that. No more improvement for Ben. Is Yoss on a lap? I'm not sure. I haven't seen him 6 times yet. It looks like he is. He's pushing. I'm not sure if he's up or down yet. We'll see. He's coming up to sector 2 soon. We'll see on the straight if he's doing well.
Natty
navigating it
G's
nicely so far.
in the
On
meantime,
AG as
Natty
well, yep.
G's coming around the final corner. He does improve, but it's not enough to
Oof.
move him places. Just those 2 tenths up. This is going to be close.
Yeah, it's the most important corner. We'll see how it does. It can really determine his lap. Seems like it does it nicely. Just so easy to invalidate. You want to push the car as much as you can. You want to cut it as much as you can, but you know you can't with these strict corner cutting. Now it's just this long straight. It feels like you're sitting there for ages, even though you're going 200 mile an hour. You're just waiting. Always got a bit of slipstream here. This is going to help him. He's got a bit of a toe from that was money game there, so that would definitely help him. Gain a few, maybe a tenth though if he's lucky. Then this difficult corner. It's so easy to lose your end on the exit. Can invalidate. Don't touch the wall. Yeah, perfectly navigated. So got basically no corners left. Going to go flat out to the line. 200 mile an hour. What can he do? Can he get P1?
He can!
Oh, he does!
He
31-1.
can! The championship leader snatches it at the end. Ben Roberts was unable to respond. Psycho improved, Natty G improved, but they couldn't get close enough to the Scarlet Ferrari, and the championship leader is leading away from a front again. He got pole last week in Belgium, and he's got pole again here in Vegas.
Look at the gap between third and fourth. That's like 4 tenths. And then look how close they are. First, second, third. Wow, all under a tenth. That's great to see. The title rival is really going for it.
Those are the top three, quite literally the top 4 are in championship standings, would you believe, ladies and gentlemen? And I have to say that little gap that's emerged between Psycho and Natty G, watch that if anything changes for the race. But let's run through the quali. Josh was pole position with Ben in second on the front row alongside him. Second row of the grid, you got Psycho and Natty G, so the 4 protagonists of the championship on the front 2 rows. Then it's Born Winner and Mercedes of Money Game with the Steps and the Red Bull of F1 Dino in the top 8. Devori with a good lap to 9th and Aston Martin of Advantage in the top 10. Watts setting his best time on the mediums in 11th, so definitely watch out for the Williams later. Billy Misu in 12th with the Predator and JMB Surreal on the 7th row of the grid. And it's CT Pat and Shari rounding out the top 16. All the drivers though separated by 2 seconds from 1st to 16th, which says to me this race is going to be very close in terms of who can break out of the DRS train when it comes to the pit stops later.
Yeah, that's true. And also something I pointed out, I just seen in the chat, apparently Ben Roberts has said 3.5 tenths up and I was held up on my lap. So I'm not sure who did that. I didn't see it, but that means if he went 3.5 tenths faster, he would have been way in front of everyone. So possibly more time there for Ben Roberts there. And even though he's P2, which is, he says it's fine with, but that's something big. He's 3 tenths ahead possibly. So he got a lot more pace possibly, and also something on Watts. I was surprised by that. He didn't set the time on the softs. I'm not sure why, but we need to keep an eye on him as well. I imagine he'll be a lot quicker in the race. I'm not sure why he didn't do a lap on the softs, but there you go. He's in P11. We'll see how he does then.
Don't know if he got balked by someone out on track. He was out there on the soft tyres. I did see he'd selected them, so something might have gone wrong on his lap. But watch out for the Williams. He's been impressive this season. He's 5th in the championship is what we certainly want to keep an eye out for next season for a championship fight. But we don't want to focus on that. We want to focus on the here and now. We are seconds away from the first 35% race of the evening. The Ferrari on the left, the Haas on the right. Who will make the best start in Vegas? And the race is live from the strip. It looks like a really good start from the Ferrari. And Josh is going to lead into turn 1. Ben and Psycho very close together going into the first corner, but they get through it so far, so fine. Natty G's in 4th. He's there as well. He's got Money Game pressuring him, looking for that championship. And Money Game is past Born Winner, so Born Winner's been chewed out a little bit. Natty's having to go defensive as they approach turn number 5. Difficult braking zone this. We saw someone crash out earlier. Natty's in the wrong place at the wrong time, and Money Game goes through, and that's vital for Mercedes in the Constructors' Championship, and that is Billy Misu in the wall and out. And I said just a moment ago, as the safety car gets called out, that turn 5 caught Antzar out earlier, and it's caught Billy Misu as well.
I was going to say just before that, everyone got through cleanly. Everyone's given space for then. Like Billy Misu there. Everyone seemed to keeping it clean mostly so far. That was good to see. And then, yeah, Money Game up 2 positions now from 6th to 4th. So nice start from him. Shari up 5 as well. Just a nice start from him. Yeah, safety car. I think strategy would be look at what tyres they're on. And Medium soft. The medium runners are gonna struggle here because since such a short race, you basically have to stop with safety car. Or you never really get it back unless it's another one. So the soft runners in a great position here, but those medium runners, they might have to go to hards now because I don't think softs will make it. It's a difficult position for him, but the top four, they're going like this.
It all depends on whether they decide to pit. We're coming around this final corners now, and excuse me, the drivers will have to make a decision. Will anyone be brave enough to go towards the pit lane? Yes, right. Everybody has decided to do that at the last minute. That's questionable.
Yeah, I saw that. Some of them went past the white line, didn't they? I don't think you can do that.
Can't do that. That'll be looked at by the stewards. They'll have a look into that one because you aren't allowed to cross over the pit entrance, and that'll be a bit controversial. Well, let's see what the race directors have a discussion on that one. But I know that the FIA, if they were watching that, won't be pleased. So Money Game is now at the front of the pack. Born winners in second. The Steps, Devori, F1 Dino, those three on the medium tyres, third to fifth, are up there as well. JMB Surreal, Shari, the Predator, and CT Pat. 9 cars didn't. The rest of them did. Joss, Ben, Psycho, Natty G, Watson, Advantage, all on the hard tyres. And the question is now, Shortbread, can they make it not only last, because I've no doubt about the fact that the hard white wool Pirellis will last, but will they have the speed? Because that's something that we saw in Tier 2 earlier, that the hard tyres really do struggle around Vegas for generating lap time.
Yeah, this is really intriguing to see now. I'm really surprised. I guess Money Game, Bournemouth didn't come in. They didn't want a double stack, which I understand. But unless another safety car later on, I don't see how it's going to work out for them. Because right now, if they pit, they'll just be miles behind everyone. So their best chance is just to absolutely go push mad hell for leather and just see what they can do on those new softs. But yeah, those hards, oh, they're really not a good race tyre. You'll be so slow on them. I'm surprised a few drivers didn't put mediums. I know it'll be quite long, but fresh mediums go, what's it, 16 laps when the safety car comes in. I don't think it's coming in now. It could be possible. I'm surprised they picked hards because those really long race tyre and there'd be absolutely no pace on them. Whereas maybe one driver, and I mean Natty, something like that. Just do something different. Put on the mediums and see what you can do. Because I think I would have done that if I were in their shoes. But I guess hards is the safe option. They're in a title fight, final race, just to be safe. I understand why they picked hards, but top 9, it's sort of going to be in their way now. I think they should have pit, but there you go. It is what it is now.
I think if anybody who is in the top 9 does decide to pit now, it's not necessarily a bad idea because they're only going to fall back to the grid, but the gains that they would make, no one has decided to do that, by the way, they've all just carried on, but the gains that they could have made on the hard tyres in terms of the lap time they would have gained from not having to do another pit stop, that could have paid off for them. But I completely see where you're coming from, Shortbread. I think the medium tyre running that to the end of the race, it's a risk for sure, but Vegas is not exactly tyre limited around here, is it? It's not exactly long left right handers. They're all quite slow speed corners. Sure, there's heavy braking zones, but I think the mediums probably would have lasted potentially a little bit longer than most would expect.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. Because, like I said, it doesn't really use many tyres. I think the main reason tyre get used and the main wear generated from the corners is like high speed corners. Maybe think Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar, Lusail, things like that. The high speed corners that really push the tyres, the ones that wear them. But then they're all slow medium speed. There's only 2 high speed ones. They're obviously turn 1, turn 2. I think that's the rest of them. They're all high braking zone. That doesn't wear them too much. Yeah, I feel like they could have gone mediums, but yeah, I don't think they would have made it. You'll be quick now and then slow later. And then hard to sort of just like just slow the whole time. But we'll see. I guess it's a safe option, so it's alright.
I think if you were, let's say, Natty G and you were on the medium tyres, you'd have to get past 3 cars in front of you whilst using the mediums. Now, when you've got drivers such as Pat, Predator, and Shari in front of you, you would be looking at them thinking, we've got to try and dispatch them quickly. And if you're on the mediums, you'd have a chance of doing that. It's going to be a little bit harder with the hard compound, I feel, for that to happen. But we shall see. We shall see. The safety
It'd be
car.
great to watch now, though, because think of you got all those drivers who haven't stopped, who were on slightly older tyres, but then you got drivers like the championship leaders, Jos, Ben, Psycho, all behind them. They're gonna have to navigate 9 cars if they make it through before they pit. You're gonna see a real battle now between all of them who want to get past, get in front of the slower cars. It's gonna be great to watch now.
Yeah, this is going to be fascinating to see how the remaining 15 laps of this race go. Money Game has got control. He can choose when to go, and I imagine he's going to leave it as late as possible, similar to how Mikey did in Tier 2 earlier this evening. And he goes now, actually. He gets the jump on Born Winner. That's a good launch. The steps isn't quite close enough. Dino was right with Vori, but as they go across the line for the next lap of the race, Money Game not pressured into turn 1, looking a little bit further back. You've got the Predator looking at a move on the inside of Shari for 7th place, and that is Dino getting past Devori in the end. He's gone round the outside. That's brave through turn 3, but he's pulled it off on the exit of 4.
Yeah, that's a nice move. They don't see many around there. They're on the outside of turn 2, but it seems all calmed down slightly. I'm looking at the back. Everyone still seems to be in the same position. I think they're all. This is a title fight they're going for now. No silly moves. Just be careful. Is that Yosk? Oh, we go around the outside of CT Pat. Side by side. Oh, there's an AlphaTauri round. Oh, there's. Oh no. There's chaos through there. I don't know who's lost out there, but. Oh, Yoss has made it up P7.
Yeah, in all of that carnage, and Shari just lets him go. Obviously, team orders there at Ferrari, and Joss has just climbed his way through all of that. Now, I was on board. I think it was with Ben Roberts. I think he hit the back of the J&B Surreal that got turned round. I don't see any damage on the Haas. There's definitely some on the Williams of Watts. He's caught up, unfortunately, in that. But can you see any damage on the front wing of Ben's car? I can't see any. He's looking at the move on the Predator as we go approaching 220 miles an hour almost. This is without DRS, don't forget, on the approach to turn 14, but I can't see any as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, and that's just this game with the sometimes you have damage and it doesn't show it. But yeah, I don't see any. We'll guess we'll see by his pace. Oh wow, that's side by side. Natty the Predator, he's managed to get through. That was close, but that's big for the championship. Yosin 6th, and his closest rival, Psycho in P9. He's navigated that lap perfectly, and now Psycho, he's got that 1 second gap behind him. He's just got to push now. I know you don't want to risk it, but if you don't risk it as well, then you might not win. It's just a weird balancing actually got to do here, but we'll see how they decide to do it.
We definitely will. Now the drivers on lap 5 and Money Game, Born Winner and the Steps all putting themselves away. I have to say the Steps is going well tonight. He was driving well in Tier 2 earlier this evening. Missed out on the championship there, but he's keeping up with the front 2. He's on the medium tyres. Whether he can make them last for long enough, we'll find out. Bit of a gap back to Dino. That's Pat and Ben Roberts having a fight over 9th place. We are keeping a close eye out on where the championship contenders are, but one in particular, Joss, is less than 3/10 behind Devori, and you feel at this point he's just going to wait for the main straight to come up and blast past them with a little bit of ERS at this point in the day.
Yeah, it's easy. Just way. Oh, I saw an Alpine CT at the wall there on the exit. He's got Ben right behind him, so I'm sure Ben won't like that, but he's going to get a slipstream because CT got a bad exit. I don't know if he got held up, but also there's Psycho going for moves. There's moves everywhere. It's huge for the championship here, side by side, Shari and Ben. And Ben's also gone for a move. Ben's got in front of CT. Is Psycho going to be able to get ahead of Shari? Is DRS going to go to the inside, swap the outside? Oh, it's just about enough room, side by side. Is he going to get through? Still side by side. Oh, so close. Oh, huge snap of oversteer. Nearly loses it on the exit. Keeps under control, and he's still in P8. Wow, that was close.
That was incredibly close. Good car control from Psycho, but he's going to be vulnerable to Ben Roberts. He knows he's got to try and make this move. That is Shari flying off the road at turn 1, so his Ferrari defence minister strategy just hasn't quite played out the way he wanted, but it's giving his teammate a little bit of a chance to go through. And Ben Roberts, speaking of going through, has got past Psycho and got DRS from Devori in front of him. So now it is game on because Ben Roberts is within a second of Devori. Do not rule out Psycho, Ben Roberts and Natty G, who's going well. Do not rule them out in catching up to Joss because they can work together to catch the Ferrari in just a few laps.
Yeah, it's big to see Psycho got a decent safety car restart, but then he sort of struggled a bit more. Now Ben Roberts got ahead of him. Now Jos is actually close behind Dino. Remember, these tyres, although they're newer than the other cars, they'll still be worse for now because they're on basically the same amount of laps of mediums and softs. So the soft medium runs will still be quicker, but for a few more laps, they'll be wearing out, and the hard runners will come into their own. Especially last 5 laps, they'll definitely be at the best. So remember that. That's why they're not absolutely flying right now. As this should be an easy move for Jos here. No need to use ERS, DRS, and nothing Dino can do. He knows not to fight at no point. Just gets in the way. And easy
Absolutely.
move for Jos there.
Psycho's going to go up the inside of Devori, so Devori loses 2 places in one straight. That's just how powerful DRS is. He's got to be careful because Natty G is going to try and go through with them as well. A little bit of blip of ERS for Natty, and he's going to look to that inside line. He should have the move done. They're both catching Psycho. I don't know whether Psycho's just caught a little bit. Ooh, Devori nearly turned in a little bit too early then. But I don't know if Psycho is just sort of trying to just keep up on the back of Ben and not push his tyres too hard. And speaking of, Natty nearly loses the back end. It's a yellow flag, and that's Pat in the wall.
Dino's round as well.
Round. Yeah, Dino's round, and that's a second safety car. And this has just spared everybody who hasn't yet pitted. This gives them a chance to box for some medium tyres. And what do you reckon, Shortbread? Would you pit now if you're on the hards? Go for it.
Wow, yeah, we were saying before, if there's no safety car, that's really over for the other drivers that haven't pit. But now there is one. If you're on the softs, this is perfect time. Money game, born winner. This is perfect for them. They're probably going to come in with a few laps time, so they'll definitely box for mediums. They will be okay. The other drivers, their problem is for the drivers who haven't swapped to mediums, they're going to have to either go softs, which might not make it, but then hards. They'll be slow, but they will make it. Yeah, that's a difficult decision. I think softs would be the best option, but this has saved a lot of drivers here.
Yeah, so the pendulum will swing once again, and just to give you just a quick rundown of where we are at the moment, no one's got a penalty, which is good to see, which is a bit of a surprise considering we're at Vegas and how easy it is to pick up such a time penalty around here. But the drivers who have stopped, you've got Jos, Ben, Psycho and Natty G, and you've also got Watts and Advantage. Those two have also pitted, so expect those 6 drivers to jump up the order. JMB Surreal's also stopped, but he's 25 seconds behind, so he's not going to make up any time where he is at the moment. But to be fair to JMB Surreal, he could pit again and go for a set of mediums. Everybody else, I'm not surprised. And Ben's following it through. Psycho carries on, as does Natty G.
Wow, he's gone on mediums, I guess, and let's have a look. What's just got, yeah, mediums. I imagine Ben is also, I can't see yet because Hart is a little at the end, but yes, I imagine they're all on mediums now. Oh no, double sack for Ben. Oh, he's losing time because he's changing front wing. Steps is changing front wing. Ben's losing loads of time. He decided to double sack. Oh no, he's lost tons of time there, maybe 10 seconds. He need to be all the way at the back. Oh no, he's losing so much time here. Wow, that's a costly decision. He's going to put all the way at the back now.
That is a disaster.
Wow.
That is a disaster. That wasn't communicated to the team. And Ben Roberts, who was what would have been a net 8th or 9th place at that point, is now a net 13th. So he's definitely not netted anything. He's lost a lot of time. So he's going to have to try and work that out. Now, one thing to mention here is that the drivers who carried on, Psycho, Natty G, Watts, Advantage, those 4 have carried on. You've got Money Game and Born Winner on a new set of medium tyres who've come out in front of Jos, who's obviously had to pit again. So Jos has to go past 6 cars here to get the race lead, and 2 of them are his championship rivals. So I don't think this is quite our... I think this is still very open, this race. It's all well and good that we're saying right now that the medium tyres are in the best place, but don't rule out a 3rd safety car here, because that could just change it all again.
Yeah, this is great. This is such a crazy final race. That final just won in Las Vegas. It's so interesting. I don't know who would be in the best position. Yeah, there's no one in front of him, but he's got those slightly old hards. Then you've got Jos and all that on fresh mediums. And then instead decided to go on the softs as well, which I think is a good choice to try something different so you can do. And then, yeah, wow, this I don't know what's going to happen. It's great.
I will say this much, that if I'm looking at the gap between Psycho and Jos in the championship fight, they're currently 32 points away from one another. Psycho would be gaining 17 if it finishes as it stands. Now, there's still a long way to go for that, so that could all change. But it keeps him in the championship fight for the next race, as it does for Natty G. So there is incentive for both Psycho and Natty G to work together here to try and pull away from the cars behind and use a little bit of a DRS train for themselves and maybe fight it out on the last lap.
Yeah, although it sounds weird, they are title rivals. It does make sense. They wouldn't just if Nate just sort of holds back, just work together, use the DRS, try and break that gap with Watson, then gonna make it even harder for those fresh medium runners like a rival you and Money Game's sort of he's further out, but they're also a medium. Just you gotta build that gap. You just work together. Although it's weird to say you're title rivals, you work together, but that is it. Now you're in that position. You're sort of stuck there now. You can't really do anything about it. Even if there's another safety car, could do soft, something like that. But I'm not sure if there will be another one. I don't think we've seen 3 safety cars in a short race like this, but we'll see. I feel bad for Ben as well. Nothing he could do. I think it was the right decision to box, and just unlucky that Steps had to change his front wing, and he's lost so many positions there, and it's just made his title chances even lower.
It has done, but I think that the saving grace for Ben is that fortunately he is only 10 points behind in the championship. If it were to finish this way at the present moment, that gap would go out to 16 points. So Joss isn't really currently in a position where he's going to gain quite a lot of points on Ben, but this can all change. We saw at the restart earlier that an incident can happen on the first lap after the safety car's gone into the pits, and it can just shake up the order. Josh benefited it from last time. Will he benefit from it this time? You just don't know. And I wouldn't rule out Money Game or Born Winner. Both of those two this evening have shown some good pace, and they're probably in the best position you would feel of those that have pitted to try and take this to the end. And they won't care about the Drivers' Championship. They'll care about the Constructors more than anything, because they're right in the thick of it.
Yeah, since the Money Game, Born Winner, they're on freshmen. They haven't got anyone in their way. It's just those older hard players. They'll be loving it because they just can push as much as they can. They sort of don't really have anything to lose. They're not in the title fight. So, yeah, I think Money Game will go for it. Go to the safety car restart.
Here we go then, building up. When will Psycho launch? Natty's right there alongside him. He doesn't want to get jumped by Watts, who will no doubt look for a chance. The race winner earlier this season is Watts. Psycho leaving it till the last minute, and off he goes towards turn 1. He's got Natty right with him. I don't think Natty's going to look to make a move, and sure enough he doesn't. Got to be careful he doesn't lock those rear tyres though. People have been struggling with that. That's an Aston Martin in the wall, and that's advantage. So he's lost that position, and that just promotes everybody up a couple of spots for them, and Ben's already making moves as a result of that. So it's Psycho who leads the way. Natty's second, Watts is third, and then comes all of the pit stop drivers just a moment ago. Look at this battle in the background between the Ferrari of Joss, Dino, Predator. They're all going for the same spot. And Ben Roberts up to 10th. Good restart for him, but he needs to keep moving.
Yeah, brilliant job. I saw on turn 2, Jos and I think Steps were side by side, and they actually had a bit of a collision. I don't think there's any damage, but it's so close. Jos trying to make a move that it just didn't work out that time. I think it'd be all right, no damage. And then that's Watson's Money Game side by side. All Money Game's really going for it. It's a difficult corner to go side by side here. Is Watts going to back out? It's still side by side. There might not be space here. Will they leave it? Now a drag race on the longest straight in the world, and then it's close. You can see how much ERS they want to use. They're using all of it. They're not giving up.
Watch Born Winner. He's going to try and make this free wide down the main straight. He got a good exit. He's going to get pinched, I think, and he's going to have to back out of it, which he does. But Watts has a good car in a straight line, but Money Game had the slipstream. He's going to look to the inside line. He brakes a little bit later. They both squeeze one another, but Watts remains in front and then hits the wall, and everybody goes past him. But that gap that the front two have built up is over a second. Natty G and Psycho have got to go now if they want to take this championship fight to the next race.
Yeah, still side by side. Got his turn 1. It was just Money Game still up the inside, turns the outside for the next corner. Baldwin on his outside. These two not fine with the championship, but they're going for it as if they are. Money Game takes P3, and you said broke that 1 second. Although that he's just it's so close, 9/10. Money Game's managed to get back into that 1 second gap. That's big for his championship, and then Josh still in P6, hasn't been able to move really, and then he's only got Watts who had that costly mistake out the exit, the final corner, and it's all stabilised now, but we'll see what happens with DRS activated.
Born Winner just had a little mistake, and that's a little lunge up the inside from the steps. He's going to keep that position, but Born Winner will go around the back and the outside. They need to leave each other a little bit of space more there, gents. But Steps, using the advantage of those soft tyres, comes straight back up the inside. It's going to be the outside for turn number 10, I believe. But Money Game has already joined the fight at the front because everybody else further back are scrapping like animals. And just, big moment for the championship leader. And look who's right behind him. It's Ben Roberts who has catapulted his way back up the order, and he is right in the thick of it. And all he needs to do, realistically, is try and beat Josh. Maybe not by a huge margin, but just by enough to pull him right back into the fight.
Yeah, great stuff from Ben. There's also money game all over them, all over the leaders with his new mediums, as you'd expect. Obviously, much quicker on those tyres. Oh, is that Ben Roberts round? Ben Roberts spun round.
Oh no, he'd done all the hard work and he falls down by the wayside. Watts, I think, has gone backwards as well, but he's going into the pits. But it's all gone wrong for Ben. Back at the front, Psycho and Natty G were side by side. You've got Money Game trying to squeeze his way around the outside. This is impressive from the Mercedes. He goes through. It's a Mercedes 1-2. Will there be team orders at Brackley? Because Psycho, obviously in the fight for the championship, he wants to win this race. What will Money Game do? Will he act as a rear guard? Who knows?
That was a good demonstration of those medium tyres there. He was able to stick around the outside, no problem really. Just nothing really X92 could do with the older tyres. You'd be able to stick around the outside, and that was it. Bob's your uncle, he's done it. And now right behind P1 Psycho. Oh, it's those old hards. The problem is he's got those, hasn't pitted yet. He's got those old tyres. He's got things like steps, but we're all right behind him as Money Game takes the lead already.
That was tactics. That was very much tactics. Psycho gone off the throttle there and let his teammate through. He's playing very cannily here as Born Winner gets a corner cut penalty for getting that all wrong at turn 11. So that's going to drop him right out the order. I have to say, Ben is, fortunately for him, still in a DRS train. He's going to take him a bit of an effort to get back up to everybody, but he's not far away. Psycho for the race lead, easy enough. Natty G for second place, and Money Game is a sitting duck because here comes the steps. Can he brake a little bit later? Oh, it's very tight between the two. They give each other racing room, but that's the Haas. Surely up into third. No, they make contact. Josh trying to make a gap for himself, but he can't find a way through. So Born Winners sat in behind them. They're side by side. Coming towards turn number 17. Money Game still on the inside line. Josh is trying to look to the outside for fourth place. He brakes a little bit later, but he gets it all wrong. And that's the Ferrari out on this marbles. He just about saves it, but that is him out of the DRS train, and that could be critical for the championship.
Yeah, costly mistake. Broke way too late. Lock up, went all over the wrong side of the track. Lost all the grip. And he lost the rear as well. 1.5 gap. Oh yeah, Natty takes the lead. Oh, side by side with so many.
The steps got it wrong. He had so much grip on those soft tyres. He just ran into the back of the Mercedes. He's hit the wall as he goes back past Born Winner. There's more contact, and sure enough, Josh is back within a second and trying to look at getting the steps. He's struggling just to get back on the road. He went over the escape road at 7 and 8, and Josh gets back into 5th. This isn't over yet, and if they keep fighting so hard, the Predator's almost inside a second. He was 2 seconds away a couple of corners ago. And don't rule out Ben Roberts. This could all go in a completely different way, but next Natty G is going to be vulnerable here for the race lead. Watch them all blast by.
Yeah, I can't believe how much Ben Roberts has been able to catch up. He lost so much time, and he isn't that far off. I think it just shows he's going really fast, and it also shows how much they're batting. They're just losing so much time with their squabbling, and they can't decide who wants to lead or not. They keep swapping positions as it's like Yoss trying to go for a move side by side. Oh, that's really close. So to stick behind. Wow, it's Ben Roberts. I don't think is out of this yet.
No, he's not at all. This is far from over. The top 6 all running. It's crucial for Ben to get past the Predator using DRS as well on the next straight, because if Steps starts to struggle with those soft tyres, he might just be a big wiggle from Steps, but this might be the gap he needs to just latch onto the steps. Natty G's really struggling on those hard tyres. Josh is on the inside towards turn 5. Can he brake a little bit later as the 2 Mercedes swap places at the front? Josh just eases off the brakes. They both give each other racing room, and that is Josh up to 4th.
Yeah, nice move for Portland as well. Yeah, Money Game taking the lead again. They keep swapping every DRS zone. They keep changing positions. It's so easy around this. Yeah, Yoss in a brilliant position. He's got only 2 other drivers ahead of him as well, the same tyres, but Psycho double the tyre length from his tyres, and they're on hards as well. So I don't know how he's really able to keep up with them, but he'll be losing nearly a second a lap, I imagine, just from the tyre wears. He's 7/10 of his teammate. He's just able to keep DRS, but he'll really be struggling now. Is it close to the wall? Has he got... Oh, that's close, but remember, Born Winner has got that penalty. He's going to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, it won't matter. Psycho won't mind too much, but I'll be honest with you, I don't think Psycho's going to let this one go. And sure enough, his teammate working with him there. His teammate comes to the inside, through the middle, they both go past, almost Spa-esque from 99, but Psycho goes through into the lead again, and that is good Mercedes teamwork. McLaren have born winners right there, and they're almost out of DRS range. If they can keep working together, these three, they might just be able to escape. In the meantime, Joss is sort of at the front on his own, but Born Winner isn't playing to the script. There's a yellow flag out there. That's just someone who's going slowly. Born Winner on the inside at turn one, trying to take a first victory of the season, and he goes through, and that's a virtual safety car. Ooh.
Wow, I was going to say interesting decision to go for a move there when you'll give him DRS after, but it's Mario VSC. I'm not sure what that was for. I think it was a cars behind, maybe Watts, I think. Oh yeah, there's Devoru in no front wing there. Don't know what happened there, but VSC down 40% of your speed, and now there's 3 laps to go. Technically it's Psycho leading, but oh yeah, I've no idea who's going to win this.
It is very close. It gives everyone a chance to sort of re-energize their battery and gives a chance to recharge. So let's see how they get on. There's a couple of drivers who've gone into the pits trying to take advantage of the virtual safety car. I can't imagine it'll get upgraded to a full safety car at this point. I don't think the game would want a last lap shootout. Where will the VSE go, though? That is the question, because we are coming towards that second DRS activation point of the lap. We're just approaching it now as we go through the left-hander. If it doesn't get activated, that's going to help Born Winner save a bit more ARS for another lap, and it has.
Yeah, that'd be big if I activate just then and sort of be screwed on that straight. But no, that's what I was saying. Psycho. Oh, is it gone now already? Oh, he has got DRS. It's caught him napping. He's able to move that quick. As soon as VSC's ended, he's already got the movement. Also, it's Yoss in P3 in front of Money Game.
Yeah, Money Game got caught sleeping, and Joss goes through into third place. Natty G's right there. Ben Roberts just got caught on the wrong side of that VSC. He was within a second of his teammate, and then the Delta picks up in the middle of that corner, and he was on the wrong side of the corner, and sadly Ben's still with outside of a second. Born Winner and Psycho still side by side for the race lead. These two aren't giving it up, and sure enough, Psycho's back into the lead of the race, but DRS is active once again, and Joss has got to be careful because Money Game looks very racy. He's right behind them, but he doesn't quite have the straight line speed down this straight as Born Winner takes the lead once again.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because I would say stay in P2, but then this penalty sort of shakes the thing up because it's weird. Psycho is leading with no DRS. He'll be like this, I imagine. Try and stick behind, but the advantage you have on the DRS straight, and Yoss right behind you. You don't know what to do. You would a person, then you lose position on the straight again. It's a difficult position he's in with those tyres now compared to his rivals and those hards, and then see what he decides to do. Only 2 laps to go. Be close.
He's not giving up, though. You know that Psycho won't, but he's brought Joss, he's brought Money Game, Natty G, the steps, and Ben Roberts. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Ben Roberts has picked up a time penalty and just ruined his any chance that he had of getting that race win.
Yeah, barely any penalties, and he's made that silly mistake. That's really costly, and I don't know what to say, it's too early, but is that out of him without the championship? If his rivals do well, he may not be able to do anything. It's going to make his chances so small. It's very costly error there. As Psycho takes the lead, interestingly. Is Yoss right behind Born Winner? Born Winner sort of in the way here, but I'm sure Psycho will be liking having a car in the way, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Yoss so close to him. Is he going to decide to go to a move? I think he's too far back. Board up the inside, side by side again, turn 1, board with the inside, Psycho on the outside. That's the inside now. Psycho got the inside, got DRS. Who's going to have DRS though? Who got it in the activation point? It's going to be key. Psycho has DRS. It's important for him to get that. It's going to save him now from Yoss.
Oh, look how close this is. They're all slipstreaming one another. This is absolutely fantastic. And McLaren, though, Born Winner still leads. Joss trying to go around the outside. Psycho, sure enough, shutting the door. I was going to say there's no way he's going to let that through. Psycho needs his teammate Money Game. And look at Money Game looking to the outside of turn 7. That would have been a brave move if he'd have pulled that one off. But they are all falling over one another to try and get this race victory. What sets the fastest lap? That's without DRS. That's very impressive from the Williams. And that is Natty G facing the wrong way. And that is his championship over.
No, so many mistakes. Just saw it pretty much the same thing for Ben Roberts. And now that's yeah, that's pretty much over for Nat. He's going to get 1 point, maybe 2 as it stands, but another costly error. So many mistakes under pressure here. You just got to be bulletproof in these situations. Costly error now, maybe out of the championship. Psycho right behind Bournemouth. What's he going to decide to do? Is he going to go for a move again? Save the ERS. Yeah, save the ERS. Don't push too much. It's an easy move. I think it's Yoss. Because Bournemouth is going to be vulnerable.
Joss is going to look to the inside line. Born Winner is trying to hang on. Watch Money Game behind these two. He's going to try and get a better exit, but he just doesn't quite have the legs. And I have to say, Money Game doesn't have the battery either, really, to compete with the guys around him. And Born Winner takes third place back. He's going to have a little bit of slipstream towards the final lap on this first corner of the final lap we're on, ladies and gentlemen. Psycho has about 8/10. And don't forget, when I said earlier about strategy with the ERS management, look at the front two's battery compared to everybody else. Those two are in much better position now than ever before, but it'll be a shootout between who wins this. It's going to be mightily close. Money Game on the inside of Born Winner, trying to make that move stick, but he can't get the exit. And Money Game stays in fourth for now.
Yoss is in the perfect position here. Better medium tyres. He's final lap. He's so easily to get the position here. He's just got to watch Psycho. Psycho might try and slow down on this straight. Try and get the DRS. So important. Watch what he does. He might try and get out of the way. Is he going to give? Yeah, he's going to give him DRS as he did earlier. He's giving him DRS. He's played it perfectly. Yoss has fallen for it. Now he's ahead. He's in the wrong position. Psycho now.
Trying to play game. They're trying to play games and it's just slowing everybody down. And sure enough, Joss has come out on the wrong side of it. This is going to be it. ERS active, DRS available for everybody. They're all going flat out. Born Winner doesn't care about the consequences. He's trying to go for it. Ben Roberts is caught up as well in the midst of all that. But Joss has got absolutely nothing. And Psycho blasts on into the lead. Here comes Born Winner. And Ben Roberts is also on the inside. They try and make it too wide into the corner. They just about survive. It's a last blast to the line. But Psycho, you feel, is just about going to hang on. He's played the tactics right. He's called it perfectly. And the Mercedes gives himself a lifeline in the championship. What a win.
Yeah, lovely stuff there. Played it perfectly. He did a risk slowing down to get DRS, but worked out perfectly. Joss does get P2 from the penalties. As where does Ben go? P6. Wow, it's difficult for him. Nat in P9. There's big winners and losers there, but Psycho and Joss, nice finishing position for them.
That has really paid off for everybody. We'll have a run through of the final finishing order shortly, but that has been an absolute masterclass from the drivers out there in terms of how to give everyone positions to ensure that everybody keeps it clean. What a race. So take a breath, everybody. Let's run through this finishing order. A couple of people commenting saying that impressive by Psycho with the worst strategy. It was a unique one. He did decide to stay out, but the gamble paid off, Shortbread, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. I'm surprised he was able to hold on. He has a stellar pace there to be able to match those guys. I know there's DRS everywhere, but still, he was able to. Didn't really lose any pace, even though those tyres would have been so old and so slow. But glad he's finished racing with them now. That's a brilliant result.
So let's just have a quick run through these championship these places that we've got here so far from the race. Psycho wins from Joss and Money Game ends up third. The Steps in fourth position. Good result for the Steps with Born Winner in fifth. Ben Roberts sixth. F1 seventh for the Predator in eighth place. Natty ninth and sadly out of the championship for him. JMB Surreal gets the last point in 10th place. Shari and Advantage are 11th and 12th with Watts getting fastest lap without DRS, bear in mind. That was very impressive from the Williams driver and by quite some margin as well. Devori in 14th, the last of the runners, with both Alpines crashing out, causing the safety car. That was a frenetic race, and let us now just have a quick look through on the championship standings. Joss leads the way on 143 points. In second place, Ben Roberts on 123. Psycho is on 118. It's going to take a monumental effort from Ben and Psycho to try and win this championship, but do not rule them out. I guarantee they will both give it their absolute utmost to ensure that they try and take the championship. Psycho would have to win and Joss not to score points to win it on countback of victories. Ben needs to win the race and hope that Joss doesn't score higher than 8th place. That's how that works out. For the constructors at the moment, it's a little bit more complicated. I'm just working that out as I go along. But so far, it is very, very close between the constructors, it has to be said. Just on the last points now. Yes. So Mercedes lead the way now on 184 points. Haas are second on 177. McLaren, who were second in the championship, now third on 161. And Ferrari are on 149. It's going to be difficult for Ferrari, I think, to try and pull that gap back. Shortbread, this is the final race of the season, and it's all to play for.
Yeah, it really is great to see. That Mercedes, I feel like Mercedes are in a great position there. Both their drivers look in really good form here. Money Game and, of course, Psycho winning. And they got a great chance getting their constructors. But the title, yeah, Yoss is in a great position here. Like you said, even someone like Ben has to, even if he wins, Psycho, just Yoss staying in the points really he'll be alright. He's running on really consistency. Obviously, Psycho, I think, had an issue in Qatar. He lagged out. That lost him loads of points. And then Ben having an issue in Australia where he overtook the safety car. Things like that just lost him like 20 points, something like that at least. And that's possible it lost them the championship here, and it's made it much more difficult for them now because they also just sort of damage limitation here, leading the championship by a decent margin. He has to just don't DNF really, and he's got it.
Yeah, but that is easier said than done around this track, which has already seen a bunch of chaos infused with a lot of different spectacles. We saw so many overtakes just then, so many action-packed fights, and we do have one last race of the season here with Gavra. Typically, I ask Shortbread, who do you think is going to win the race? Who do you think is going to win the constructors? Who's going to win the driver's title? But I'm not going to be that cruel for you, Shortbread. I'm just going to ask you who's going to get pole.
All right, yeah, just pole. So Yoss got pole, didn't he? Yes, okay, Yoss. I'm gonna go Ben. I'm gonna say Ben because I feel like he had great pace there. Like that comeback he had when he spun, and then he was like right behind them again. I know they were battling, but still he gained up a lot of time. I feel like there was more pace in qualifying from Ben as well. He just wasn't able to show it. So I think Ben's gonna get pole. Yeah.
Ben for pole, then let's see if Shortbread prediction turns out to be correct. If you're new to Gavra, do give us a follow here, but certainly would recommend it. It really does a lot of help for our wonderful community. But if you are new, this is the second race of the evening. It's a one-shot qualifying, so you only get one chance. No cutting corners, otherwise you'll end up near the back. And it's a 25% race. The first one was 35%, so it's only 13 laps as opposed to the 15 that or rather the 18 we've just had. So the drivers will be preparing themselves. They'll know a little bit more about how to fight with the car, and maybe if we do get another early safety car, someone once again will make that decision to try and pit a little bit early and do the strategy maybe somewhat different, Shortbread.
Yeah, the safety car. Those two safety cars changed everything that race. If there was no safety cars, the result would have been completely different. So I remember that, and just it's sort of that luck really. If you start on the softs, you want an early safety car. If you're on mediums, you want a late safety car. So it's sort of luck, it's sort of skill at the same time. So got to play your cards right, see where you end up, and hope a safety car comes out at the right time for you, or it could all be over in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, you are not wrong. It could be over very, very quickly for our drivers. Don't rule out more chaos in the coming race. It's certainly all up for grabs. Not just the drivers, the constructors is exceptionally close as well. We will see who emerges on pole position to start off with, and then the race will be even more frantic and like it just was, even more so, dialed up to 11 this time around with less laps to get yourself in front of the cars around you. Well, this is it. Shortbread, last qualifying session of the season.
Yeah, it's going to be great to see. I imagine they'll be fully pushing those top three, but don't invalidate, so we'll see what they decide to go full push or be a bit conservative. Let's see now.
So here we go then, the drivers on their final qualifying of the season. It's far too early to be talking about who's going to be the fastest. We'll wait until the first sector times come through. That's where we'll look to see if anybody can make a difference in those corners. But it's all about the straight line speed, how much time you can gain. I'm looking at the opening couple of corners here. You've got Shari in the top four, which was impressive. Joss is only now just starting to make his way through the pack, if you want to call it that. So I think Joss maybe has a car that's a little bit more inclined towards the straight lines. I could be wrong there, but that looks like it to me.
Yeah, it's true that he was a bit down, but Psycho Purple Sector 2, I think Purple Sector 1, sorry, he's on a great start, and he got Ben Roberts behind him, keep moving, but as the lap unfolds, you can see Psycho leading so far. Yoss is making his way back up. So far, it's all the title rivals up there, then Steps is getting himself involved as well. It's so close that he 2 corners to go. We'll see how they do. And then see the straight line speed taking effect. Now Ben Roberts taking the lead there on the straights. That's interesting to see.
I've got to say, everyone was topping out at 220 in the top four then. So those 4 drivers, top 4 in the Drivers' Championship, they're all running similar setups. We come towards the final corner. It looks like it could be Ben Roberts on pole. Will it be right? Yes, it is Ben on a 31.2. Great effort.
Yeah, that's close. I think 2 temps between Ben Roberts there. It's like, yeah, 31.2, 31.4, then 31.8.9. Yeah, it's all pretty close there, but Ben Roberts, great lap there, as I thought. I think he to give, and instead of qualifying before, there's a bigger gap here between each driver. You got 1.5 temps with Psycho, and then 5 temps, 6 temps. You're quite far behind, but like I said earlier, he doesn't really have to push too much. He sort of just damage limitation. He can finish P5 and he'll still win. So it's just, I think he's fine with that position. I would be. With Ben Roberts, nice qualifying. Psycho and Ben Roberts seem, and that moment. Can Psycho bring it back? We'll see.
We shall see. The Steps getting in there in 4th place. A good effort from him. Watts inside the top 10, as is Dino. Good effort from Shari to see him in the top 10 in the Ferrari. He got advantage. He was up there in the qualifying session earlier, outside the top 10. And Devori and the 2 AlphaTauris rounded out the bottom of the field there. So Devori didn't get his lap together. And that's what I say, everyone, is it's so important to just get a tidy lap in, as opposed to being flat out in a one shot. If you get it wrong, you can lose so many grid positions, and that's the difference between hero and zero. But we are about to crown a hero in the next 12, 13 laps here in Vegas. We're about to put a title crown on someone's head for the first time in Gavra. Of course, don't forget, Ben Roberts has won Tier 2 before. He's a champion there, never won Tier 1. Yoss looking for his first title, as is Psycho. So it's all to play for. And the last steps that they have to prepare is now they've got to get their head in the right space. They've got to have the right mentality moving forward. And the final time of this season, who will make the best start in Vegas? And the race is live here in America. Looks like a really good start from Psycho. He's going to move alongside into turn 1 and surely breaks a little bit later than the Haas. Ben Roberts tries to defend around that corner, but I can't see him going through. Great start from Joss as well. He's up to 3rd place. The Steps has gone backwards. And Natty G's fallen backwards as well. He's not had the best start. That's very close in the midfield in the fight for 8th place. Natty just emerges in front of all of that. But good start from the top 6 as Born Winner tries to go past the Steps for 5th place. Just about keep it together. But I've got to say, that was a good start. There's a yellow flag. That is Pat. He's not crashed out. He has hit the wall, though, unfortunately for him. So he's going to have to try and pluck his way around the track. But great start for Psycho, and that's Watts falling backwards.
Yeah, the Ben Roberts and Psycho will be hating. They look in their mirrors and they see that Ferrari right behind them already. Right, they gained 2 positions and he's got money getting all behind him, but he's there already with them, and their only chance of winning this is if Yoss falls behind. So nothing more they can do as Ben Roberts can move to their lead early, side by side. He's already got it done. Interesting going for the move straight away, but it might not be over. Straight so long, Psycho's going back for it, not using ERS. Having a look, is he going to go to the inside? He might stay behind. Is he going for it up the inside? He's going for it side by side. He takes the lead back again, so they took the lead and lost it, then took it back again. So that shows you how long that is.
Very long and money game already again. The Mo knows he's got to try and help his teammate up there. He's got past Joss, the front three, trying to make a break for it in these early stages. Psycho leads over the first lap. Money game will go to the inside. A little lock of the rear brakes for Ben, has a little wobble, but he gets it stopped, fortunately enough for him. Now, I've got to say, every single driver, apart from Shari, who unfortunately is in the pits, is on the soft tyre. So everybody running the same strategy, because I think they all realise they've just got to try and go for it. It's too late now for any other sort of fun strategies they'd want to try and prepare, as Ben Roberts still fends off Money Game for second.
Yeah, I think it's a safe option. Everyone start on softs. Pretty much they've got two hard runners at the back, but everyone even on softs now, so they're all the same here. It's just down to the drivers now. See what they can do. Yeah, we have Money Game in the way of Yoss, sure he's not liking that, but it's okay. He's got that title lead. Just keep it in there. No penalties, anything like that. Just keep it clean. He'll be alright. Psycho retains the lead, but a few laps time, DRS enabled, he probably won't keep it.
No, it can all change in the next few laps. I'm sure that Ben will be fully aware of that, as will Joss. The top 7 all running away from the rest of the field, by the way. There's 4.5 seconds back to Predator. So there are 2 races going on. There's a yellow flag, and that's one of the Alpines in the wall. That looks like it's CT Pat again. He's carried on, but Ben Roberts into the lead. Psycho's going to try and break a little bit later. And Ben is not stupid, he's a smart driver, slots back in behind his championship rival, sits in second, but Joss just occupying where he needs to be in fourth. He doesn't need to think too much.
Yeah, the Tyrell was in there, battling for maybe second in the championship. This is Joss right behind them. Ben was going for it again around the outside, the side by side. If imagine well, he won't back out, he's still going for it. He'll go to the inside now, so he had the advantage. 6 behind, he will have DRS now, which is wide from Psycho. Is his teammate Money Game going to go take that position? Yeah, he won't have DRS, so he's lost 2 positions there. Unlucky for Psycho.
Yeah, Psycho was trying to think strategically, tried to take the DRS by running wide out of the corner, but just timed it wrong, lost 2 places. But this isn't a bad place for Psycho to be at the moment. He's with his teammate. He's got a joker in the pack there, as has Ben for that matter, because Steps has shown some really good form this evening. But all of the championship fights, in terms of the constructors, they're all together in the top 7 places, barring Shari, who's obviously had that front wing change and he's out of the running pretty much. But the top 7 are all fighting for the constructors championship. So expect the elbows to go out as we go onto this first lap with DRS available along this main straight. And Psycho is looking at his teammate saying, come on, let's get a move on, let's go after Ben.
Yeah, he doesn't want to get stuck behind him. We've seen Money Game maybe struggling a bit. 8 attempts already. Can't have DRS, so important. As Psycho using ERS here, and get past makes sense. Just stick behind Ben. It's just I think if he wants second in the championship, he needs to beat Ben Roberts, something like that. They're so close, but I imagine he'll just want to win anyway. So Josh right behind. We'll see how he does. Yeah, we'll see.
X90G tried to look at the inside of the steps and got the move wrong. And as he got the move wrong, it sort of pushed Born Winner out wide, and Born Winner ended up with a time penalty, almost thanks to his teammates doing, and they've lost DRS as a result. So the top 5 will be thinking, let's try and get a move on and get away from that lot. If we can drop the McLarens, that just limits it to a 2-way fight between the Haas team and the Mercedes team. And they'll be wearing
I'm sure Zach Brown's furious about that. They were on that DRS now. Both McLarens have lost out there and out of the DRS range. They're probably just going to lose even more time unless they can go absolutely flying. But they're all on the same tyres. I don't think they'll be able to get it back now. I was going to say, great to see all top 7 so close to each other, but now it's going to be the top 5. So costly over there. Lost them quite a lot of time. It will be at the end of that.
Yeah, that's going to be really unfortunate for them. But Ben Roberts still has the lead of the race. He's leading from the front. He's got quite a safe advantage, I would say, over Psycho at that gap at about 3/4 second. But to be fair, Psycho had a really good exit, so expect Psycho to breeze up to the back of the McLaren's rear wing any second now. If you've got a gap of about 7 or 8 tenths, you're usually okay down this main straight, as Joss goes for the move in third and takes that position. And Psycho is trying to look at a move around the outside at turn 14. He isn't quite alongside enough, but one move change for Joss taking third place. Oh, big wiggle from him. And Money Game
Nice
will
move from
need.
Joss. Oh yeah, he's coming back.
And Money Game goes into the pits, and I think that's a
Oh.
good idea. I really do. This is something that I was talking with the tier 2 drivers about earlier. The undercut around here is very, very strong. A Money Game might think this is the best time to get the medium tyres on. He doesn't have to worry about fighting other cars, and he can just focus in the first sector to make up that time. It's going to be close, but don't rule it out.
That's tricky. Yeah, good idea. Someone's got that. I think the top 3 need to respond to that now. I think, well, that's Billy Misu going around turn 1, but yeah, I think they need to respond now. I think they could all box for mediums now and try and limit that undercut gain that Money Game's now got. I think Money Game made the right choice there. He's not in the title fight. Just go for it. Maybe you can get a win. Less risk. It was Psychos all over the place. Maybe the tyres overheating there again. Overstayed. Oh, he's lost to a second now. Yeah, he made a big mistake through that chicane area. Now, he might not have DRS going into the long straight. This is going to be key for the race. If he loses this, it might be the race win over if there isn't a safety car. And he hasn't got it. Wow.
He hasn't got it, but don't rule out the over. The fortunate thing for Psycho is that Joss is so far away, and I say so far away, it was out to a second then. He might struggle to get back in DRS range as well, so don't rule out Psycho just yet. That gap can still close up very quickly. The steps is also there. And XIG's lost a lot of time to Born Winner. I'm not sure what's happened to those two, but I'm looking at the gap between Ben Roberts and Money Game. It's currently 19 seconds. Money Game is out in front of Devori, so he should be under pressure. Who's coming into the pits? That is
Psycho's responding.
coming into the pit, and Steps is following him, so that's important. One of the Haas cars needed to respond to the Mercedes then, and it's decidedly the Steps who does it instead. So Ben leads the way. He's got a second and a half over Josh. Those two won't need to worry about DRS. Where is Money Game in relation to his teammate? He's just coming out of the final corner now. Psycho trundling out of the pits. Money Game is right there with him, and I feel had it been anybody else, that might have been a bit more of a move done from Money Game, but he's going to use the RS to go back past. And clearly the undercut is pretty decent around here. Not as powerful as other. Oh no!
Oh wow!
The two Mercedes have run into one another. Psycho got it wrong. On new tyres, he's run into the back of his teammate, and that is an open goal for Haas.
Wow, that's for the constructors' fight as well. I guess Mercedes is in a great position to win that fight. He's got Natty right behind him as well. Now, I don't know how Psycho hasn't got damage. I don't see any unless it is the game again. But if he's got away with that no damage, that's very lucky because he hit right at the back of his teammate there.
Quite slow speed. I think that's what might get away with that. I think. But that was clumsy on new tyres. He's running to the back of his teammate, and that leaves them vulnerable to Haas. The gap between Psycho and Ben Roberts at the moment is 18.4 seconds. We'll look to see if yes, and sure enough, the top 3 all bailing into the pit lane. So advantage, unless he decides the pit, will take the lead of the race. But Psycho is going to be a bit sheepish at the end of this, I feel, if Mercedes lose out of the championship because of that.
Yeah, that's unlucky for him. Imagine it was the other way around though. Money Game hit or 4. That would have been Total Wolf would have been furious about that. But we'll see. Everyone's coming in. This would have been their normal time to come in. This would have been their part of their pit strategies. This is a normal idea. That Ben Roberts keeps the lead, so undercut hasn't worked too much for Psycho. Is he going to get DRS? He has got DRS. That's key. Yeah, that might have worked. Then he's got that few attempts. Only 3 attempts, but it's worked out. He's got that DRS back. So good moves coming earlier there.
Yeah, it did work out in the end. It wasn't as big as powerful undercut as we would expect, but it has paid off for them. Now, the 2 Haas cars, though, this has worked out really well for the Steps because he's right there with Joss. They're 3 seconds clear of the Ferrari, who won't be thinking really much about the race victory. He'll just be making sure he gets around the track and takes that title. He's comfortable in the position as things stand. He is the title winner. But the question now becomes more of a fight of who's going to win this Constructors' Championship, because this is wide open. And Psycho is right with Ben.
Yeah, he's all over him. He's got Haas, Mercedes, Ferrari, McLaren, all of them up there. There's yellow flags. cars behind. But yeah, Ben sort of lost out here. He could have pitted early, but he didn't decide to cover off the undercut, as then Psycho takes the lead.
Psycho in
Wow.
the lead. Steps takes third off Joss as well, so that boosts Haas in the constructors fight. Although I've got to say, realistically, for this to work for Haas, Ben has to win this race really, because at the moment the difference between the two teams is about 2 points. Haas needs 7, so Ben needs to, excuse me, not only win this for his championship hopes, but also for the constructors too. A lot riding on Ben.
Yeah, exactly. They might be more fighting for the constructors because I think these two. I think even if they fight and get the win, I think they're still P2 because Joss is in 4th. I haven't done any maths, but just going off what I remember, so they might be going for that. It's Steps. Yeah, he's doing a good recovery there in P3. I know he did the other cut as well, and it's paid off in P3 now. So nice position for him, and then the McLaren's not far off.
Ben's lost DRS. Ben got it wrong into turn 5. He nearly ran into the back of the Mercedes. Fortunately, he missed the rear wing. And he just sort of slipped, not quite down the escape road. He got away with it. But he is going to have to work so hard. And Psycho knows that now. Psycho knows that he could just take it easy just a little bit more than usual. Save a little bit of ERS for him later in the race. Because I don't doubt that Ben can close that gap down. But the steps, I'm really impressed with the steps at the moment. He's pulling away from Joss. And Natty G is closing the gap. Natty G, the two McLarens, after looking like they cost themselves earlier, Zach Brown's been on the blower and said, get a move on, gents. We've got a championship to win. And they're responding in kind. Here comes Joss, though, for 3rd place. Move done. Easy as that.
Yeah, see Joss maybe not pushing too much. I guess doesn't want to magically crash now, lose the fight this whole time, lose that title. So it makes sense just not pushing as much. 2 seconds gap to the leaders. And it's sort of like a complete reverse from a few laps ago. Psycho losing out to Ben. Now it's Ben losing out to Psycho. So it says that this Psycho will get the win, but it's very close. 1 second. Ben had those slightly fresher tyres. Might have the grip, but he hasn't got DRS there, but it's so close. 1 more tenth and he's got DRS.
Yeah, and Ben is trying to sort of save and use the ERS at the same time. Same with Psycho, and he's within that second gap. Here comes Steps to the inside at turn 5. Brakes a little bit later than the Ferrari, goes through, and look at the two McLarens have joined in the party for that podium spot. They want their Constructors' Championship. This is mightily close.
Yeah, I thought McLaren might be out of it now, but I have no idea who's going to win this Constructors' fight. All of them are right up there, and now McLaren right behind Joss. Everything is all to play for. Yeah.
Absolutely. Watts' season is at an end, unfortunately. Tired from the race, just hasn't worked out for him today. So he has to carry on. But the fight is between the front two for the race lead and the Constructors' Championship. They both need to win it for the sake of their teams. And my, oh my, Psycho is trying his hardest, but Ben Roberts has been so quick today. Look at that straight line speed. He blasts on through into the lead of the race. Psycho drops to 2nd, Born winner, and Joss go past the steps for 3rd position. And Natty G is trying his utmost to get into that DRS window, but he's just struggling a little bit to get into, to just secure that place. Going to be hard for him, but he's nearly there.
It's great stuff from Born winner. He's great pace. He's got to P3 now, but his Achilles heel seems to be just that penalties. He got a penalty last race, got another one this race. If he was able to keep it on track, he'd be in a great position and maybe get a podium, but that mistake, we're going to lose so many positions because he's got 3 cars right behind him.
Yeah, it was really unfortunate as well. His penalty it was just a case of he got caught up by Natty G, his teammate, and that was that for this race. And Shortbread, you're not wrong. He certainly just needs to iron out a couple of those penalties. He got one in Austria as well. Don't forget, he could have won that race. But he is certainly looking like a driver who's fighting ready for next season. He's lining himself up for that title tilt. But speaking of the title tilt, the 2 at the front, still right involved in this. You know, Joss, he might be in 4th place and he's currently winning the championship, but this can all change with 3.5 laps to go. Do not rule out anything happening here at Vegas. It certainly can, especially if Joss gets any closer to that exit wall. Crikey, that was far too close for the comfort for the Ferrari.
Yeah, I think we just missed it. I think it was a lap ago Ben took the lead, but that might change again because the same as last lap, they just keep swapping positions. There's that DRS just way powerful around here, and they just keep swapping positions as Same move as last one. Psycho takes the lead again. 2 laps to go after this one.
Just does the same. He gets back past Born Winner to take third place. He's back on the podium. Natty G did get back into that DRS train as well, so those four are going to be running together. I have to say, the two drivers at the front, Ben and Psycho, they're running really well together. They're making this sort of overtaking strategy between the two of them work. It's really pleasing to see. It's just a case of whether now Ben can get this race win or whether it'll be Psycho. Joss will just be concentrating on ensuring he takes the points. Psycho keeps hold of the lead for the time being, but we are only a few laps away from the end of this championship, and currently it's in Joss's hands.
Yeah, it's a big gap formed there, 4 seconds from the front two. They've done an amazing drive, but I imagine Joss isn't pushing too much. But we'll see who wins this. It'll be close, because you could say hang back, but there's the advantage you get from DRS. You'll be flying past them even if you tried to slow it down. You have to fully lift off for ages if you wanted to stay in. So yeah, we'll see what he decides to do. It'll be, I guess, all down to the final lap.
Yeah, definitely, but you've got to be careful with doing that. What Ben's just done was just sort of cutting over the curb, and you can get away with it, but that can really cost you in the long run. Ben, though, won't care about that for now. He hasn't got a penalty. He takes the lead of the race once again. Born Winner up to third. The steps, I think, is just a little bit too far away from the Ferrari in front of him. But these four drivers are doing an excellent display of what it means to just run in a straight line, ladies and gentlemen. It's a good race for them, but the fight is really now, the key focus is at the front. Who is going to win this? And who, if Ben does win this race, they should have the constructors' big slide from Psycho, and he hits the wall. Psycho hits
Oh wow,
the
I didn't see that.
On the exit of turn 3, and well, also subsequently the exit of turn 4. He hasn't lost DRS, crucially, but that is a big moment. You cannot be having those moments with just the penultimate lap and the final one to go.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I saw a bit of it, but yeah, risky, but maybe the tyres sort of overheating. But right now, if I was Psycho, maybe try and stick behind. If he pushes now, is that an Alpine off? Yeah, but let me see. But yeah, if he pushes now, he might 8 tenths. He's got the DRS, so if I were him, might stay behind and then get the final lap, just push, get that DRS, and we'll see. But we might see what happened last race. Slow down at the DRS line, and then see who gets that DRS. I imagine that's what's coming up between these two.
They both could do that. Natty G's got a time penalty, so both McLarens, unfortunately, are going to drop backwards. Don't have to worry about that yellow flag, ladies and gentlemen. We are on the penultimate lap. There isn't going to be a safety car. Joss gets past Born Winner for third. Psycho was backing out of that. I did see his throttle slow down a bit. Psycho preparing himself for this last lap.
Yeah, as I thought, it's slowing down. I don't think it makes sense on the second to last lap, and then Ben will just get you back. So everybody can stay behind, but then Ben might try and slow down before the DRS line, and then they can't slow down too much because 2 seconds behind is Joss, who's able to catch up a few seconds. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting to see, but final after the championship of the season, we'll see what happens.
This is it then. If you want to make a name for yourself, you've got to do it now. Psycho within half a second of Ben in front. Both of them have been trying to save some battery. Joss is trying to hang on to third place. Steps has lost fifth place to Natty G, but he's going to fight that one back by trying to overtake him round the outside at turn 5. Oh, bit of contact between the two. Steps lost the back end, so that's their fight pretty much sorted. It is now going to be between Ben and Psycho for the race win. Joss doesn't need to worry about finishing third. The two cars behind them both have time penalties, and Steps is nowhere near. Can Psycho make this work? He's closing the gap down. This is good.
Yeah, they will see that he's not slowing down for the DRS line. Interesting choice from Ben. He's going to be really vulnerable here. Ben doesn't more the ERS, but slipstream DRS, such a long straight. He won't be able to do anything. He's going to catch up so easily. Unless he wants to catch him back on the final straight after the few corners, he could do that if Psycho uses all of the ERS. He could. It definitely is an over. If he gets it right, gets a good exit here, it is an over. He could get him just at the line.
It really could be, but it's going to come down to whether Ben can get the best exit on the final corner. The ERS is open, and that is it now. Can Psycho hold on to the line? It's going to be mightily close, but look at the straight line speed from Ben Roberts. He's going to go to the outside line. This is for the constructors. Ben gets it on the line. Joss, though, is your champion of Tier 1. Joss is champion at long, long last. The Ferrari man has done it. Crucially, here in Vegas, well done to Josh Trek. Ben catches Psycho out on the line by 2/100ths of a second. I'm going to have to work out the championship standings for the constructors because my oh my, how close was that in the end? That was fantastic racing and a masterclass from Ben to prove that you don't just have to have DRS at the last lap because you can get him on the final corner.
Yeah, absolutely. Just as I thought, is maybe Psycho thought he would have got it done there on that DRS straight, but I've seen it before. I've done it before in other races. You can just, if you just hold that ERS, let them get past, but then get a good exit at the final corner, and then you're right behind them, slipstream ERS, and that's what he's done by a tiny margin. He's managed to get it done. But brilliant job from Jost to win the championship. He's winning on consistency, and he deserves it. Nicely done.
Well done to Joss. He'll be absolutely ecstatic with that one. He'll be really chuffed to pieces. We'll have a chat with him in a little bit. And can I also say well done to the Haas team, who, thanks to that last overtake, Haas have won the constructors title.
Wow.
0.028 of a second. Ben Roberts has just won that team a constructors championship, so well done to them. We'll have a chat with all the drivers shortly. Wow. So let's just get confirmation of all of this, ladies and gentlemen. Ben Roberts is the race winner by 0.028 of a second from Psycho. Well done to our champion Joss in third place. He wins the Drivers' Championship by what seems to be 10 points in the end from Ben Roberts. Born winner is fourth and gets fastest lap in the end with the Steps in fifth, Natty G in sixth with Money Game, Dino Advantage and Predator scoring the last point in the Alfa Romeo. Good result for the Predator to end the season off like that. Devori, J&B Surreal, CT Pat and Shari are your race finishes with Billy Misu and Watts retiring from the race, but the celebrations will be wild, not just in the Haas pit garage but also in the Ferrari garage. They have their champions and we'll be interviewing them shortly. Shortbread, what a season.
I know, yeah. I didn't expect Haas to win it. I thought Mercedes would get it, but I guess that mistake from Psycho taking his teammate out on the last few laps just gets lost it because his teammate Money gave him P7, so that may have cost a bit, especially because it was so close because Ben just got the win there, but fair play to Haas, and then Jos is the title winner.
He is your title winner and he'll be chuffed to pieces at that in the end. I'm looking forward to conversing with him. Natty G in the end, he finished fourth in the drivers' standings, but that's still not a bad result for Natty. He did say a couple of rounds ago he wasn't expecting to be in the championship fight, but he was there in the end, and that's always good to see. But gonna have a chat with everybody in a moment. I'm trying to get my breath back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure everybody else is after watching that, which was just superb. A great bit of racecraft from Ben Roberts to take the win, but it is the Ferrari man of Joss who takes that championship. Well done. So we're just waiting for a couple of people who will join the chat shortly. Got a couple of people who've already come in. We've got Joss, we've got Shortbread, obviously, because he's been commentating with us, and we'll also I know but we have got Joss in. So do you know what, I'm going to make a start with the interviews. Joss, you can unmute yourself, friend.
Yeah.
You are champion of Tier 1. The Ferrari fans will be chuffed, but more importantly, how happy are you right now?
Very happy. Yeah, it was were two tough races, but we did it in the end. So yeah, maybe not the fastest, but at least the most consistent. So very happy with that.
I gotta say, it was a really tense fight. The first race, especially, there was a lot going on. How was your nerves and your mindset during that? Were you worried about anything, or were you just trying to stay calm?
Well, during the first race, I was pretty calm actually, surprisingly, and I just tend to stay behind a bit more. Also save more EOS to use on those final laps and just avoid any contact and crashes. And then yeah, Psycho played it beautifully. At the end, I thought I had enough EOS to keep ahead of him, but it wasn't the case. And then yeah, he got P1 and I got P2. So very happy with that result. Yeah, that was the first race.
I've got one or two more questions to ask. I'm going to go to Shortbread. Do you have any for our champion?
I just want to say, yeah, Jos, honestly, the start of the season, I didn't think you'd win this. I thought it'd be like Psycho or Ben, something like that, but you definitely deserved it. You did a great job. You won on consistency. Those made fewer mistakes than you didn't, and yeah, fair play, mate. Nice stuff.
Thanks, mates. Yeah, at the beginning of the season, I wasn't really ready. Got lucky in Australia, the first race, and I think I only finished 2 times outside the podium. I think it was Australia 9th and then Belgium last week 4th. So yeah, consistency is key, they say.
Did you think at any point, I mean, what was the standout race for you where you felt like you got on top of everything, you got good results? What do you think that best race was?
Austria, definitely the first race that I won. I've never been a huge fan of Austria, but yeah, I practiced a lot on it, and yeah, I got P1 and P2, I think there. So yeah, that's when I realized that there might be more in it.
I mean, from your perspective, I don't want to say too much about the future, but you know, you're a champion, first time at Gavra. Congratulations, of course, are in order. But do you feel like for next season it's a case of same thing again? Consistency will win you it.
Hopefully. Hopefully, yeah. Of course, Ben and Psycho had. Ben, I think he was disqualified in. Was it Australia? Austria? It was a safety car, I remember that. And then he got unlucky a few other times, and Psycho also disconnected, I think, in Qatar. Yeah, and together with some last week in Belgium, so they've been unfortunate, and I've been fortunate. Yeah, it's not fun for them, but yeah, can happen to me also next season. So.
Well, in any case, Josh, congratulations on your championship. Well done. It's been wonderful watching you this season. It's thoroughly deserved, and I hope you can have celebrations long into the night.
Thank you very much, and also thank you guys again for commentating, and also to Gavra and the team for creating this league racing for us.
Oh, thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
Cheers.
Well done, well done, champion. Well done.
Thanks, guys. See you around.
So we're going to cut over to the man who finished second in the Drivers' Championship, which is Ben Roberts. You can unmute yourself. Ben, talk us through those last few laps, because that was incredible to watch.
Yeah, no, it was really close. First of all, big congratulations to Jost. Thoroughly deserves that championship. Obviously, I knew that from the first race it was going to be virtually impossible to try and get that back, but just had a great battle with Psycho. I think the highlight for me was able to keep him behind when he pitted a lap earlier. I stayed out that lap on the softs, which I thought was a really bad lap, but I was pulling a gap to Jost and was able to come out like 7/10 ahead of Psycho. Obviously on the fresh mediums, obviously they weren't quite up to temperature, the same as him when he came out, but yeah, just a great battle with him really, all the way through the race, but really clean. It was obviously a a battle for the DRS on the second to last lap. I think we were both lifting off heavily to try, and I was going to try and let him pass and then try and get the DRS. But actually, I remembered that on the straight towards the line that it's very powerful, the slipstream on this game. So I'd saved a little bit of ERS and managed to get him on the line.
Yeah, I did see that. I did see you had a little bit left as you were coming into the braking zone. You turned the ERS off at that point. I do want to say congratulations, because that gap, that 0.028 of a second, that has won you the Constructors' Championship with your teammate at the steps. You must be chuffed with that.
Well, I didn't realise it was that close, to be honest. But yeah, obviously I was just trying to maximise the points for the team, knowing that it was probably over in the drivers. But yeah, just trying to get the most out of that. But yeah, it's been a really good season for me, myself, and Steps. He's just been really consistent. Obviously had a few mishaps through the season, but obviously same can be said for myself. So yeah, it's just been a really fun season, and yeah, happy to at least get one trophy out of it, even if it is a virtual trophy.
I mean, in the end, that gap has given Haas a 4-point lead. 212 plays 208 points in the Constructors. I do have one or two questions, but I'll go to Shortbread. You got any questions, mate?
Yeah, I just wanted to add the nice stuff, Ben Knight, and that win as well, so close, but unlucky in that season. I think it would have been pretty close at the end, but I don't know, mistake or glitch whatever happened with the safety car or Australia, but it would have been really close. You did well, so nice stuff, mate.
Definitely, thank you. Yeah, I think also obviously with Psycho's DNF in Qatar as well, which was no fault of his own, which, I mean, you could say the safety car incident was a little bit my fault, a little bit not knowing that, to go past by the white line, but I should have probably just backed off anyway. But I mean, what a fight it would have been if we hadn't have had those two DNFs being really, really close. But Jost obviously winning quite a few races. He had great pace today, great pace last week in Belgium as well. I think it's just been insanely closer than we could ever imagine, really, between all of these drivers. So yeah, just big congratulations to everyone, really.
Absolutely. I mean, second place, another strong position for you in the Drivers' Championship. You were third last season, second this season around. So by theory, Ben, you should be winning it next time around. 3, 2, 1.
Well, you say this, but I've had quite a lot of P2s in Gavra, unfortunately, through the years. I've been playing for a long time before you guys were commentating on this weekend league, and I've had quite a few rivals back in 2020, finishing second to O'Rainsy when I was racing in Racing Point. That was a long time ago now, but yeah, really hoping that next season can give it my all and try and go for that Drivers' Championship, and hopefully get the Constructors again. I don't think I'll be racing for Haas if I can get a different seat next season, but yeah, definitely really good season.
Well, regardless whether you're in a Haas or in a different car, I'm sure you'll want to take your teammate with you if you can combine that partnership again. But
definitely.
But well done, Ben. Second place and the Constructors' Championship. Well done to you, mate. Good season.
Thank you very much, and cheers for the commentary, guys. It's been really great all season. So big hats off to you guys.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you.
Oh, we're going to go over to the man who finished third in the Drivers' Championship, the man who had more wins than anybody this season, did Psycho, but he's currently sat here in third place. Hopefully you can hear us, Psycho.
Yeah, I'm here.
Tonight was a great drive and a great display of strategy from yourself, and you got a race win. Tell us how you're feeling as well.
Yeah. First off, I want to say congratulations to Jos, because he's been arguably the most consistent driver throughout the season, so he definitely deserved to win the championship in the end. But for the race today, I felt like the first race, I thought I made a mistake with the strategy staying out, because I saw on the safety car Jos was only P5 on the fresh mediums, so I thought I was going to lose the race. But then Money Game was like, I have to give it to him because he was helping me out, defending everyone. He was. We kept switching on the straights, trying to lose as minimal time as possible. So yeah, he was holding up everyone, and yeah, thanks to him, I got the race win in the end. on the last lap. Had to back up a bit so I could get the DRS because I had no ERS left, which worked. But yeah, I'm happy with the race win. I'm kind of disappointed that I didn't get the second race win.
I was going to ask, obviously you're going to be disappointed, but Shortbread will probably point this out in a moment, and he did during the stream, that contact between yourself and Money Game probably was the first sort of sequence of events that cost you the race win. What happened there? Did you just, new tyres, just lock it up and then that was it in the back of your teammate?
Yeah. I spoke to him afterwards. I think it was just a combination of me not really concentrating too much, and he braked a little bit early, but to be honest, I think the blame more lies on me. I should have been a bit more aware in that situation, and I did apologise to him straight away. And I think that probably cost us the constructors because he was ahead of me then, and that was the lap I pitted, so we would have been P2 and P3 there. But yeah, I think it was just unfortunate, really. Yeah, there's not much more I can say on the situation. Obviously, I apologise to him, and yeah, it's just really unfortunate, to be honest.
Shortbread, have you got any questions or anything you want to say to Psycho? I've got one or two. I'll pass it to you.
Yeah, I was going to say, I do feel you, Psycho. I think it was an unlucky season. I remember you had a few instances, but then I think that was the main turning point. I think you lagged out, something like that, and then something you couldn't control. You lost a huge amount of points there. I think you had a lot better understandings, but you did well anyway, so good stuff, mate.
Yeah, thanks. I think you're on about the Qatar race, yeah. I lagged out of that race, and when I joined back, my AI had crashed. But yeah, it is what it is, to be honest. And in the Austria race, I didn't score points in race 1, I think.
No,
but that's just my fault, to be honest. I put the wrong setup on, and yeah, that's just completely my fault, to be honest. So
I think for sure, you know, at the start of the season, you know, you were leading championship. We've ended up third, but I don't think you can take anything negative away from that. It's been a great season for you. You've just had a little bit of bad luck. I think, you know, my question to you is for next season. You did briefly mention Austria where you didn't score points. What do you think you need to change anything for next season to go 2 steps further and win the title, or are you going to keep it the same and just hope the lag doesn't come back again?
Yeah, about the lag, I did change something. I got wired connection now so that I don't lag out. So that's sorted out one of the issues. But in terms of changing anything, I don't really think so. I think considering where I was in the F1 2021 game, I was always at the back of the grid. I don't think anyone even remembers me. I was PSU at the time. I was always at the back. Yeah, I was always at the back in the 2021 game. And then I was always P16. And then in the 2022, I made it like I made a promise to myself that I was going to catch up with the rest. And yeah, now I'm just happy with where I've come so far. And I think next season, I'm just going to do what I did this season. Hopefully I'll be a bit more consistent, but yeah, I'm just aiming for a bit more consistency next season, and that's it.
I think that is the key thing here, because you know it's funny you say PSU, because I remember you very well, and the one thing that I commented on when I first started commentating with Gavra is how you were steadily building up the pace. It was finding the consistency, which was key. You were strong in quali and then a little bit weaker maybe in the race, and now I feel like you've got the qualifying speeds there, the race pace is there. It's just meshing all of that together and trying to take that first title. So keep your head up. Your progress has been good, and it's a great showing to everybody who's watching and who's watched today in terms of how far you can come if you just keep sticking at it.
Yeah, thanks guys. The commentary's been great all season, and thanks to Gavra for hosting another weekend league. So yeah, it's been really fun again, and I can't wait for next season.
Cheers, Psycho. Well done this season.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
Thanks, guys.
So we round off our interviews with the man we always interview last, regardless of whether it's tier 1 or tier 2, debating on whether he wins the race or not. We're over to the Steps. Not only is he a race winner this season in tier 2, he's also a constructors champion as well. Steps, how does it feel?
Yeah, amazing. Thanks again. Also, I don't want to forget, congratulations to Joss. I was watching every single replay, and I can say that he was really amazing and deserves I'm so sorry. My brain just stopped working for a second. He deserves it, and I am looking forward for next season with him. The Constructors Championship, yeah. Uh, we already made some even jokes with, especially X-Strategy, that I won more championships in one day than he has in 10 seasons. So, yeah, I mean, Constructors Championship, Tier 1 and Tier 2, yeah, it's great. Especially with someone like Ben Roberts, which is the top of the top guys here in the league. So, yeah, I'm just honored to be here with these guys.
Do you because you looked really quick again tonight. You've looked a lot quicker in Tier 1 in the last 2 or 3 races. Do you put that down to sort of would you say the practice that you've done from Tier 2? Do you think that's helping you get quicker in Tier 1?
It is a possibility. I really don't look at it that way. I practice the same way for Tier 2 and Tier 1.
Yeah.
But yeah, it can be the possibility that Tier 2 is basically like a big practice session for Tier 1. I can know better the strategies, I can figure out the fuel, and yeah.
Sure, Brad. Do you have anything you want to comment for the steps or any questions?
Yeah, so I had a question. You definitely have pace for Tier 1. I know you're one of the few drivers who are in both Tier 2 and Tier 1. What do you think you're going to do next season? Maybe, say, one league, do both of them again? What do you think, if you know already?
Yes, so Tier 1 is certainty for me. I'm gonna 100% join the Tier 1. It's so much fun, I can't pass the chance to race here. And Tier 2, maybe. I already talked about it with Jack in the interviews for Tier 2. I'm thinking about quitting Tier 2 and do the commentating for Tier 2, because the reason is you, Shortbread, okay? Because every time I watch the replays on the Twitch or YouTube, I feel kind of bad for Tier 2 about having just one person commentating, so I'm thinking about it.
Well, there we go. I think that's a good answer. I do have one last question for you, Steps. What is I mean, you've shown some good pace rather this season. You've certainly improved as the championship has moved on through the calendar. What is your target for Tier 1 next season? What are you hoping to get? Are you hoping for some podiums, maybe challenging for the race wins? Because you've been there or thereabouts this season in Tier 1, and maybe you're on the precipice of potentially breaking into a race win, maybe.
Yeah, I certainly hope so. My overall goal is to get past the marker of best of the rest and actually fight with the guys on top. So yeah, just keep practicing and hope that I can level up and join them guys on the top.
Brilliant. So well done, Steps. Good season for you in both tiers. It's gone really well. But congratulations for Tier 1, and looking forward to seeing you race again next season.
Thank you, you too. It was a great season, great commentating. Thanks, Gavra, for organizing. And yeah, I'm looking forward to next season already.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Steps, for joining us this evening. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, me too. Thanks, mate.
So, that is it. This season is run and done here at Gavra for Tier 1 and for Tier 2. It's been an exciting season of lots of action, overtakes, crashes and chaos. But at the end of it all, we have crowned 2 champions tonight. Antzar in Tier 2 and, of course, Josh Trekvoss in Tier 1. It's been absolutely a pleasure and a privilege commentating on both championships, but it's also been equally good having Shortbread 224 in the commentary box with me as well. Are you back next season, Shortbread, or are you going to go for your title? What are you going to do? Put you on the spot before we end.
Might be on the track, I might not be here, we'll see.
But in any case, thank you very much for commentating alongside me this season. And if you are still watching, which I do hope you are after listening to all the interviews of the amazing drivers within our championship, what I do want to say is thank you very much for all the support you've given Gavra over this season. It's been absolutely brilliant to have loads of people commenting on the stream. Of course, you can go and watch these streams. These will be on YouTube uploaded in a few days' time. I would urge you to go and watch those. I know that a lot of the drivers do. It means a lot if you watch those. Check out Gavra, of course, not just on the website, but on our social media platforms as well. We've got Discord. I know Gav's got TikTok and a few other things as well going on. So do check those out. But I'd certainly say check out the website and the Discord, sort of the main central hub for you to go and find out all the information about when you can sign up for next season. Shortbread, anything to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to add something. Nat, he told me he wanted to just let everyone know that the Gran Turismo 7 League starts next Friday at 8, so if anyone's interested on Gran Turismo 7, there's a league going on if anyone's interested in that. I just wanted to add that, cheers.
Definitely check that out. Really good point from Shortbread. Gran Turismo 7, great game to be involved in. Good place for you to get used to all the community. I'd certainly sign up if I were you on a Friday evening. But for us with F123, that's it for the season. Do check out the website for any more information about the announcement coming for a new season, which will be soon, but we'll give you a date as and when we know it. But wherever you might be in the big wide world, have a good one. See you soon.